Okay, so here we are with another DC Multiverse unboxing from Mcfarlane Toys, and this is Shazam and Freddie Freeman from Shazam Fury of the Gods, or as the real ones know from the comic book. This is Captain Marvel and Captain Marvel Jr. Back in the day when, during the Golden Age, when superhero sidekicks were all the rage, Robin the Boy Wonder had just been introduced and was ridiculously popular. The thought was you give our own superhero their own sidekick. So most superheroes that were created afterwards would just have a sidekick assigned to him from the jump, like Captain America had Bucky in the first appearance. Well, if you were a superhero that had been around for a couple of years at this point, and you didn't have your own sidekick already, well, we're just gonna find you one. In the storyline that introduced Captain Bad Guys of World War II, Captain Bad Guys of World War II attacked an old man and his grandson and a fishing boat. And unfortunately, the grandfather was killed, and the grandson was mortally wounded. So Captain Marvel, who rescued the boy, transferred some of his power to young Freddie Freeman to keep him from dying. And much in the way that Captain Marvel, Billy Batson would get the powers of Captain Marvel by saying the word Shazam, the name of the guy who gave him the powers. That's the wizard that gave him the powers, not the superhero himself. Uh, Freddie Freeman would say Captain Marvel to get his portion of Captain Marvel's power. So that's how he became Captain Marvel Jr., the only superhero who can't say his own name. So anyway, in the movie, the origin was a little different. uh, Billy's adopted siblings, his foster siblings, all gained their Shazam powers when he transferred to them with the staff, and they said the magic word Shazam, and that was how all of his siblings got their powers. Whereas Mary had her own origin in the comics, but I think that's accurate to the New 52 Shazam comics. Some of the very few New 52 comics that I actually enjoyed. Captain Have Fun says, "Please DM me when you are free." Well, of course I will. So yeah, I hope everything's going well. So let's go ahead and open them up. Here's some artwork on the back, and it's artwork based on the characters in the movies. Captain Have Fun says, "Awesome. Let me know if you want Zach to sign something. Didn't know you were a fan. He's really cool." Well, that's nice. So, uh, so maybe I can try to get another one of these because they are pretty cheap on Amazon right now. But yeah, Zachary Levi, he played Captain Marvel, Shazam, and this guy here, I'm drawing a blank on his name, Adam something or other. He was the guy on the OC. He actually was almost going to play the Flash in George Miller's Justice League movie, but that didn't happen. Yeah, let me go ahead and get these, get all the hands here. And this is what I think is actually the coolest accessory. But yeah, I still haven't seen Fury of the Gods yet. I didn't get around to seeing that at the time that it was out in theaters. I think it's on HBO Max. I should probably watch it at some point. But yeah, there's Mr. Mind. Makes me really happy. From what I understand, he's not in the sequel, which very much disappoints me because they did tease him at the end of the first movie. But yeah, the most evil and deadly of all of Captain Marvel's foes, Mr. Mind. He was in the comic book sentenced to the electric chair. Like, that's how serious he was. That's what the backdrop looks like. It's just kind of some generic background from the movies. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't think the sequel did too well. The first one did pretty well. Like, it did well enough they did a sequel to it. But I think part of it was because everybody knew it was getting rebooted, so that kind of killed some of momentum for it. So there we go. All right, so we got the trading cards out of here. Same artwork we saw on the back. I'm guessing this is artwork that would have been in the style guide at the time, but I didn't see a whole lot of merchandise from this movie. So, in fact, the only merchandise I can think of I've seen are the Mcfarlane figures, which I think they did a good job with. And I've got two of the regular Shazam figures because I was going to take one and make him into a more classic comic book version, but then they wound up putting out this guy. So, and I've got two of these. So I'm actually right now in the process. I've got one of these taken apart so I can paint the belt, but I'm going to do a classic Bronze Age type Captain Marvel figure. So that's what the fronts of the cards look like. That's what the backs of the cards look like. Freddy's bio is very brief, so let's go ahead and read that first. It says Freddie Freeman, Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Poor guy, he doesn't even have a superhero name at this point. They don't call him anything. Like people complain, oh, why do they call Captain Marvel Shazam these days? He should just still be called Captain Marvel. Yeah, well, at least he has some kind of superhero name. Freddie Freeman is just Freddie Freeman. So, data file, real name Freddie Freeman. When a vengeful trio of ancient gods arrives on Earth in search of magic stolen from them long ago, Shazam and his allies get thrust into a battle for their superpowers, their lives, and the fate of the world. So this is a terrible, terrible bio for Freddie Freeman because it doesn't even tell us anything about Freddie Freeman. It could tell us about how he's got a bum leg, has to walk with crutches, and he always dreamed of flying. So when he got the powers of Shazam, he reveled in that and finally was able to become the true hero he was always meant to be. Goddamn, I can just right now, just off the top of my head, make up a better bio than what they gave him on the back. And it's like, it's not like this is badly written, but it's not even a bio. It's just like a blurb for describing the plot of the movie. So Billy's got a little bit more on here. So let's read Billy's and hopefully his will be fine. Captain F1 says, sweet bronze silver age Captain Marvel looks like the Kingdom Come Captain Marvel. Yeah, and you can bet that once I finally get that Kingdom Come Superman, I'm going to take some pictures of those two together. So I do have a head sculpt that I can 3D print that looks like the Alex Ross Captain Marvel. So I'm planning on doing that. But I think I have one actually already printed out, but I just haven't painted it yet. I think it's around here somewhere. I don't know. I just got so many piles of stuff over here. I'll find it later. You'll see it eventually. All right, so here's what the bio on the back says. It says, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, data file, real name Billy Batson. Billy Batson's parents died when he was a baby. More on that in a minute. The orphan child believed he had no one to rely on and had to fend for himself. But one day, he was guided to the Rock of Eternity where the ancient wizard Shazam waited. The world needed heroes, and the boy became the wizard's new champion, able to transform himself into an adult superhero by calling down a magical bolt of lightning. Now, whenever evil must be stopped or people are in need of help, Earth can rely on the power of Shazam. This is a great bio of the comic book version of Captain Marvel. This is not such a great bio of the movie version because famously the movie version, his parents did not die when he was a baby. Apparently his father, I guess, abandoned them, and then the mother abandoned Billy at the carnival. Remember at the fair, she just left him and watched and made sure the cops came by and got him, and then he finally found her after searching for her for years, and she was like, yeah, bro, I don't want to have anything to do with you. That's why I abandoned you at the carnival. Man, happy Mother's Day to everyone except Mary Beth. She's horrible. So let's see. Captain Have Fun says, I always thought Freddy's costume looked cool. Obviously, I was influenced by it. Yeah, like I'll talk more about that when I get the figure out. But yeah, he had a sharp look, and Freddy, I think, like probably because he was the first of the extended Marvel family, he's got some eccentricities to his suit, shall we say. I'm going to discuss all that in a minute. So I'm going to get back to getting these accessories out of the package, and the accessories that they come with mostly is extra hands, like we have. So we have an extra set of fist hands, and we have two extra sets of these kind of gesturing hands. So each of our heroes has a set of those hands, but they have hands that are on, because you see that Shazam has these solid fist hands, and Freddy has two gripping hands. So there's not an extra set of gripping hands. There's only one set of gripping hands, and it's on Freddy right now. So let's go ahead and get these out of the package. I kind of want to talk about Freddy more than I want to talk about Shazam, because I've already talked about this figure before. But there's the staff of the wizard Shazam, the actual Shazam, and let's go ahead and get the figures of the package. So cut that. He's got double rubber tabs around his torso, and then it's like double rubber tabs even around each one of these shins. And I don't think there's any around the arms at all, so that's good. I always like it when there's less rubber tabs than usual. So let's go ahead and get him out of here. And like I said, like there's not a whole lot else. I've already got this figure. I've already talked about him. And this is a little bit different, so we'll talk about the differences mainly. But we'll go over real quick that I love the costume that they designed for the sequel. I like it even better than the first one. It's more of it's closer to the classic suit than the New 52 suit, but it still has some New 52 elements to it. Like I said, the New 52 Shazam costume was one of the few that I actually really liked. Captain Have Fun says books, movies, comics are not as harsh as they used to be, but still, Disney movies don't cause as much PSTD or PTSD. I'm sorry, as they used to. There's my dyslexia again, but 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 yeah, like yeah, but yeah, like honestly, I think it probably would have been better if it turned out his mother had died, like, and he just never was able to find her that way, than just having her turn out to be what she turned out to be, you know. But whatever, he found a new family, so that was good for him. And then Captain Have Fun says, "Have you ever replaced a plastic cape with a fabric cape?" I have not, unless it's the sort of thing where it's like, you know, I just give it like a clip, like a superpowers cape. That I haven't really done the sort of thing where like you actually embed a cape into the figure. Lone Dragon says, "Shazam, the genie, does he come with Kabubi?" No, afraid not. This is not the Sinbad version of Shazam from the live action family that we all remember watching, right? With Sinbad, because it did exist. We all watched it on VHS. I've seen, you know, pictures and clips online, so I'm sure that movie existed. But the main difference between this version and the one that was on the single card is you can see he's got some of these black stains from like battle damage that are mostly on his arm and his torso. They don't go onto the butterfly joint, but you know, it's hard to keep that, I guess, consistent or whatever. But basically, it's the same figure that we got before. It's not exactly the same because of the stains, but it's mostly the stains. So here, well, since I got him here, let's have a look at him next to Captain Thunder, the comic book version, as close to the comic book version as I've got right now, anyway, in this line, at least until I finish my custom. And then there is a figure stand. These do not come with the standard figure stands that Mcfarlane toys often come with. It does come with, however, its own special figure stand that you can display both figures on. So let's talk about that real quick. It's held in with one big rubber tab. Lone Dragon says movie. It's a Hanna-Barbera cartoon from the late 1960s. Kabubi was the winged can. Oh, Shazam! Yeah, that one. Okay. Yeah, like Shazam with, I think, was it two A's or two Z's or something? That was you know, one of those Mandalorian effect things where People remember it, even though apparently it didn't exist. And it was a movie that Sinbad was in, where he played a genie, which I think people are confusing with the movie Kazam that had Shaquille O'Neal in it. But Lone Dragon says, "How dare you ruin my joke?" Well, I'm sorry. I didn't get the reference. I'm sorry. I haven't seen Shazam in a really long time, so like I'd forgotten that the camel was named Kabubi or whatever. It was Kabubi. Yeah, I already forgot. But yeah, like I remember seeing that like in the early days of Cartoon Network. So let's go ahead and open up Freddie Freeman, which is the main reason I bought this set, because I had seen him on Amazon, and it was just a little too expensive for me to buy for a figure that like I already had. Like I said, I don't know where they are right now, unfortunately, but I already had two of the movie versions of Captain Marvel, so I didn't really need a third one. And to pay like $40 or whatever it was, $50 for the whole set. But since I saw these on sale for around like 25, like I figured, well, that's not much more than I'd pay for like the single figure. And I do really want to have the Captain Marvel Junior figure, so I'm pretty excited about that. Bobby Wald says Shazam needs to pick up some Tide on the way home. Yeah. So I'm not sure how he got those stains on his outfit, because like I said, I still haven't seen this movie. So I'll probably have to check it out at some point. So Captain Marvel Jr. I'm going to call him Captain Marvel Jr. because that's what I've been calling this character since I was a small child. You can see that he does have the same exact costume, pretty much, at least sculpt wise, that Captain Marvel had. It's the same exact body from the neck down. It just has the look of the actor whose name I'm drawing a blank on. So why don't I look that up real quick? If my computer actually can work quickly for once, let's have a look, see, because I know how to find this guy. Well, it's taking its sweet time. There we go. Okay, so let's the OC. Adam Brody, that's the guy's name. All right. So yeah, Adam Brody plays Captain Marvel Jr. in his adult form, Freddie Freeman as a superhero. And he was a guy that was on the OC. I think that was the thing he was most famous for. And he's been in a bunch of stuff since then. He's in one of my favorite movies, which is Thank You for Smoking, where he plays Rob Lowe's assistant in that movie. And I enjoy his performance in that. He's easy. It's a small part, but he's good in it. And he was originally supposed to play the Flash in George Miller's Justice League movie, if that had actually been made, but it did not get made. So anyway, I like his hair. It does remind me a lot of the way that Freddy's hair is in the comics. It's brown instead of black, but it's got that little bit of length to it. Like, he had pretty long hair for a guy in the 1940s. Bobby Wald says those orphans lucked out. They get a costume and actual pants, not like the orphans Bruce takes in and makes them wear the shortest shorts with any superhero outfits. Hey man, like Robin picked that costume himself. That was Dick Grayson's choice. He was the one who wanted to show off his thighs and calves. That was all him. Like he, but Jason Todd, I guess he got saddled with that costume, and Tim got to wear long pants. So all the Robins since have had long pants, even Stephanie Brown. So Captain Have Fun says, "Thank You for Smoking" is underrated, with the emphasis on underrated, and I agree. Fantastic film. I love that movie. So but yeah, that's the main. I always think of Adam Brody from that. I never really watched the OC. I think I saw like a couple of episodes of it here and there, but I wasn't watching a lot of television because I work nights. I don't get to watch a lot of television. So usually when I watch television, it's when I go back and binge something because somebody recommends it to me. But so his colors are not very accurate to the original Captain Marvel Jr. costume. because originally Captain Marvel Jr.'s costume was kind of a palette swap of the original Captain Marvel. He had a red cape and blue bodysuit, but all the yellow stuff was still the same color. So all the Shazam characters in the movies have white capes. So he stays consistent with that. And it looks like on this version, they've changed out most of what was gold on the Captain Marvel suit for silver on Freddie Freeman's suit. And I think the reason that they did that is probably because they felt like it would complement the blue better than the gold does. But yeah, looking at him here, it looks like to me like there is some silver detailing in the gauntlets and in the boots of the Captain Marvel suit, and that's reversed on him. He's got gold detailing in the gauntlets and the boots, and you still see it still is yellow where the emblem lights up here. They didn't make that light up like white or light blue or anything like that. It still lights up yellow. So I think that looks a little strange with the silver border on there. So I don't know if that worked out best, but he is still in blue like how Captain Marvel Jr.'s suit is traditionally. Captain Marvel Jr. wound up becoming a very popular character in his own right. He had his own comic book and appeared in other comic books as well. So and then of course would team up with Captain Marvel and Mary Marvel in the Marvel Family comic book, and appear in those stories sporadically, at least in Captain Marvel or Captain Marvel Mary Marvel stories. Captain Marvel Jr. might pop up, and of course there was that whole big lawsuit thing that wound up with both of these characters going underground for a while. We didn't see much of either Captain Marvel or Captain Marvel Jr. Up until the 1970s, when Jack Kirby pointed out to DC, hey, you guys could license these characters and do comics about them. And he was hoping to work on it, but unfortunately that didn't happen. He was actually a big fan of the Captain Marvel characters and the Marvel family. So, but yeah, I think Mac Raboy was the guy who drew most of the Captain Marvel Jr. stories, and it's kind of interesting how they did that, because they did kind of go in a different direction from the regular Captain Marvel stories. Kind of the opposite of what you might expect is that Captain Marvel was always drawn in a very sort of stylistic, cartoony sort of fashion, and had a lot of whimsical adventures. And that was C.C. Beck that drew most of those, but lots of artists did work on them, like what was his name? Mike Swayze, I think, not Patrick Swayze. I don't even know if they're related, but Jack Kirby actually did work on some early Captain Marvel stories. So that was what got him fired from Captain America, actually, because they found out he was moonlighting when he had like an exclusive contract. Oops. So, but yeah. So when they brought those characters back in the 1970s, Marvel had already trademarked the name Captain Marvel for their Marvel character. And there's a little more to that, but it's a little beyond the scope of this video. But that's why they couldn't just call the comic Captain Marvel, and they had to call it Shazam. And that's why most people nowadays think this character's name is Shazam, to the point where now DC calls this character Shazam. But again, we're getting into the weeds here. Freddie Freeman became Captain Marvel Jr., and he becomes the character when he says the words Captain Marvel, because he's getting his powers from Captain Marvel, and that means he can't even say his own name, which is kind of funny. Lone Dragon says all these same power-related superheroes makes me think of that they should bring back She-Thing. I haven't heard about her in a long time. I'm surprised that they didn't already do it. I'm surprised, hell, the movie didn't just make him into a woman and just have Sharon be the thing in that, since I mean they already got female Silver Surfer, so whatever. But but yeah, so he's not called Captain Marvel Jr. in the New 52 version or in the movies at all. And I suspect the main reason, because they still technically could call him Captain Marvel in the comics if they wanted to, just as long as it's not on the covers. It's a trademark thing. It's not like the lawyers told him to stop. I've always said, I suspect the real reason is because they knew the movie was coming out and they just did not want to say the M word in a DC movie at all. So that's why they go to great lengths to avoid calling him Captain Marvel. But yeah, I liked the way that they did the Marvel family in the movies and in the New 52, because I just kind of felt like it was a very streamlined way to do it, and I felt like it worked really well to do it that way in a movie. And let's face it, even if you're somebody like me that read and enjoyed that New 52 Shazam series, and like I said, that was one of the few New 52 series I actually did enjoy. Uh, it's kind of obvious that the main purpose of that series was to basically make a template of, here's how you can do a movie with these characters. And you can definitely tell when you see the movie, because it uses like a whole lot of stuff from that series. In fact, I think the only thing it really didn't use from that series was Black Adam, and that's because The Rock was already doing his own thing with Black Adam at the time, so he was kind of off limits. They couldn't really use Black Adam, ironically enough. But I do really like these figures. These figures turned out really cool. And Freddy looks sharp. I'm glad to have a Captain Marvel Jr. figure, even if it is the movie version. I don't know how likely it will be that they ever make Mcfarlane gets around to making a comic book version of Captain Marvel Jr., but I think I'll be happy with this one in the meantime. I do wish, and I don't know if they're going to get around to it at this point, I do wish they at least done Mary Marvel, because I would have liked to have had a figure of her, and I do really like her design in the movies. I would have honestly liked to have all of the extended Marvel family from the movie, because, like I said, I like these costume designs, and I really liked those characters in the New 52 comics and in the movies. So let's talk about the articulation, because I haven't talked about the articulation yet. And of course, it's going to be practically the same for both figures, since they are practically the same figure, at least from the neck down. So, Freddy can look up about that far. He can look down about that far. He can tilt his head kind of quizzically from side to side, rotate the head all the way around. Of course, the arms rotate all the way around at the shoulders. And you got some wiggling there with the butterfly joints. They move back about that far, forward about that far. And he's got a bicep swivel. Bicep rotates all the way around. Got double jointed elbows. That is about the range of motion you get at the elbows. He's got the cool Mcfarlane torso articulation. So, it rotates all the way around where the rib cage meets the abs and where the abs meet the waist. Although it seems like it's stuck a little bit there, but I got it loose. Oh, yeah. He's got the cool Mcfarlane wrist articulation. So it rotates all the way around where the wrist meets the hand and where the hand meets the forearm. And he's got the cool Mcfarlane ball joints, but they seem like they're a little stuck on this one, and that's probably because the paint. I got that one to move, but you can move those around any which way you want to, basically. So that's cool. But like I said, right now mine's sticking a little bit, and I think that's because of paint. So I don't want to put too much stress on them. I don't want to break them. So, but they should move later. I'll just apply some heat to them. Freddy can kick up about that far, which is excellent range of motion as far as that goes. He does have the rubber trunk piece, but it doesn't seem to hinder that too much. It's very soft rubber. Got double jointed knees. That's about the range of motion you get in the knees. And then, of course, he's got that little bit of wobble here. Doesn't seem like a whole lot. Seems like it's less than these usually have, but there's a little bit there. He does not have a boot cut, but the ankle rotates all the way around where the ankle meets the shin, and the ankle rotates all around where the ankle meets the foot. So we can still get some good motion out of there. It's those great Mcfarlane ankle joints that I like so much. Foot points up about that far, foot points down about that far. And then we have toe articulation just to show off. So great job on these figures. I know the movie didn't do too well, unfortunately, because I do really like these characters, and I would like to see them in more movies. And I know Zachary Levi was on the internet recently being like, hey, bro, I can come back for the new DC movies, James Gunn, but I didn't hear a response to it, so we'll just see what happens with that, I suppose. I'm gonna see if I can get this to loosen up a little bit by just kind of fitting my X-Acto knife in there and kind of just putting a little bit of space, just kind of widening it up a little bit. I'm not trying to cut anything. I'm just kind of trying to use it as a wedge, and then I'm hoping that'll make it so. See, these are painted, whereas usually these joints aren't painted, and I think that the paint is kind of sticking in there. So I'm hoping I can do that without actually applying any heat to it, and it seems like it's still stuck on there pretty darn good. And I don't want to break it because I know these can be delicate if you put too much pressure on them. So yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna have to. I might even boil some water and dip it in the boiling water. I think that might be the best way to smooth that over. We haven't really talked about the staff, so let's talk about the staff some. We can put the staff in his hands since he's the one with gripping hands. And of course, you could probably put these gripping hands onto the Shazam figure if you wanted to have him hold the staff. But there he is with that. So there's what that looks like. Anyway, that's it for the 2-pack. Like I said, I was able to get this for pretty cheap on Amazon. It was only like $25, $28, something like that when I picked it up. And of course, I had gift cards, so for me, it was nothing really. I had a bunch of gift cards that I'd earned, like doing things online and on various apps. So so that was very cheap for me. But yeah, I'm happy that I was finally able to get these. They're pretty cool. So and like I said, I already had basically this same Captain Marvel figure, but I suppose since I've got extras now, I could probably use these to make the other some of the other Marvel family members. That would be pretty cool. Paint it in gray and paint it in green and do those guys. So anyway, that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Boil water? Are you some kind of chemist? Yeah, I'm Heisenberg. Like I got the same hairstyle and everything. So anyway, that's it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please make sure that you like and subscribe. All the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about these figures and the Marvel family characters in general. And if you're as adamant as I am that you're still going to call him Captain Marvel, even no matter what DC says, damn the lawyers, damn the trademark laws. Next episode, I'm going to start a 3-part series talking about the Crime Syndicate, the supervillains of Earth 3, who are kind of parallel versions to our own Justice League characters. And I'm going to start with this guy, Owlman, because I've had him to open up for a while and haven't gotten around to it. So we're gonna finally open up Owlman, and then I've got the Ultraman 2-pack where it's Superman versus the Superman of Earth 3 and Ultraman, and then we've got Power Ring, the Platinum edition of the Simon Baz figure, who is actually Solomon Baz. Lone Dragon says he was Captain Marvel in Mortal Kombat versus DC, and that was my first main character. Well, there you go. See, they managed to call him Captain Marvel way back then. Sean Franklin is here with us. Hi, Sean Franklin. Hi, right back at you. Good to see you, even though unfortunately we are near the end of the episode, so we're about to close things out. But yeah, next episode you won't want to miss it. We're opening up Owlman, and then we're going to do Ultraman versus Superman, and then we're going to do Power Ring. So we'll have some Crime Syndicate figures, and that should be a lot of fun. And then I don't know exactly what I'm going to open up. I've got the Year 2 Batman over here. I've still got the Lex Luthor in the power suit. What Batman is this? There's another Batman. That's the Michael Keaton Batman. I've got a Michael Keaton Batman to open up. I've got Christian Bale, Batman Begins figure to open up. Just got a lot of DC Multiverse, and I've got more Masters of the Universe on the way. In my pile of loot right now, I've got the Masterverse version of Ninjor. I have Grizzlor from the cartoon collection. So I haven't opened an Origins version of Grizzlor yet, so I'm kind of excited about that one. What else? I think I had one other thing that was Masters of the Universe related in my pile of loot. Oh, yeah, the biggest thing that I've got coming up. I do have in my pile of loot right now, I have the Franklin Jella version of Skeletor. So we'll be opening him up once I get that. Very excited about that. Sean Franklin asks, have you been in Gatorland? I have not been in Gatorland. Gatorland sounds like a place where I probably would not want to go because I do not want to get eaten by alligators. I came a lot closer to an alligator one time than I ever wanted to get. And that was when we went on a trip with my Cub Scout troop, I think it was, when I was in Webelos. We went down to the Okefenokee swamp, and I saw, because he was so still, I saw an alligator up close, no glass, no bars, no nothing in between us. Because I'm like, oh, hey, here's a statue of an alligator, because he was so still. And I get up close to him and I look into his eyes, and his eyes look back at me. I see them move, and I realize this is not a statue of an alligator. This is an actual alligator. So I backed away very slowly. And I'm still here to tell the tale. So I guess I did the right thing. But it was in kind of a public area, like near a parking lot and everything. But yeah, that was an intense moment for me as a youngster. Lone Dragon says, but you don't blow anymore? No, because I never have actually. So sorry to disappoint. Looking at the figure stand here, they did this in a weird way because there's one peg here and there's one peg here, and those are awful close to each other. So I guess you'd have to have one standing behind the other one. Like, I mean, you could kind of stagger them. But if we put Junior here, and because it's kind of uneven, they don't really stand on it very well. Like, I could do it like that, I guess. But they still have to be kind of like behind each other a little bit. Anyway, I'm probably not going to use that figure stand. So I'll probably just use regular figure stand. Oh, you said we blow. No, we blow like the Cub Scouts. The We Be Loyal Scouts. It's an acronym, kind of. So yeah. So but yeah, like that was a fun trip, even though I almost got killed and eaten by an alligator, but thankfully didn't, because otherwise I wouldn't be here opening up action figures on the internet, or I'd at least be doing it with like one arm or something like that. So anyway, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, again, like and subscribe, all that fun stuff down below. I'm going to be back next episode with Owlman. I hope to see you then. Have a good one. Take care. Bye.